So in this video, we're going to be talking about actually how to write the personal statement. And since we just looked at how to outline it, this is going to be a fairly quick video. And so in this video, what we're going to be looking at is just very simply some of the common issues. I think that if you see some of the common issues that admissions committees see or they get to read many, many times, then you're able to write a better essay. And the second one just being some very general tips, but it also kind of goes hand in hand with some of the common issues. So some of the common issues that I also see when I read these applications or when I read these personal statements is one, they're very general. They like to play it safe and just kind of cover their bases and be very general and kind of very surface level. It hasn't done very much thinking or taking any risk, I guess you can say, is that they kind of just gloss over many of the major themes or major ideas, but they never really talk about a specific example. I think that that's one of the issues is that, they talk about just very general events. For example, they got to see a lot of sick people at a hospital, right? I see that a lot where you just see a lot of sick people at the hospital, but they don't ever talk about a very specific example. To me, when I read that, it's just you got to see a lot of sick people at a hospital and that inspired you to pursue medicine. It sounds really bad when I say it, but in reality, it's actually written a lot more than you would think. And the third issue is only using one example that's a very, very, very personal experience. And one thing that you have to realize is that these are individuals who have no idea who you are. They're reading your application. And so if you have a very, very personal experience that really is very important to you, no doubt about that, but they can't connect with it. I think that that's one of the biggest issues is that, people are very passionate and they have very good reason to. They have very good reason to be passionate about certain events that happen in their life. But it's another thing to use that as the sole example as to why you want to pursue medicine. Because if you take that risk of only having that one example that's very, very personal to yourself, you run the risk of the reader isn't able to connect with you. And the fourth thing, and I think I see this the most actually, is relying too much on a very distant or child experience. I think that everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people, one of the big reasons why they wanted to pursue medicine is probably something happened when you were younger, right? Something happened when you're younger. It doesn't have to be all the way when you're 9 years old or something like that, but something happened when you were a little bit younger. And one thing that I see too much is that people rely on these child experiences solely as the reason why they want to pursue medicine. They saw something when they were 10 years old or 12 years old or 6 years old, and that is the reason why. Well, that's a reason why I can see that you can be inspired to pursue medicine. But if you rely too much or solely on that one child experience or distant in the past experience, you kind of detract from the reasoning behind what have you done for the past, for example, 4 years in college. You have to be able to relate what you did in your past or what happened in your past, your distant past, and how can that relate to what you have been working on or doing in the present day, or at least in these past 4 years in college.
For more educational resources like our H&P notebooks, check out medicalbasics.com.
This is kind of just an extension of the common issues that I see, but kind of in the converse is tips of, I guess the first thing being just be honest and yourself. And that kind of just goes with the last note that we just saw of, overdoing things. Just be honest and yourself. Just be who you are and write about what you know and what you can back up. I think that that's one thing is that if you overdo something and then you can't back it up during an interview, that's going to look very negatively. That's why I say that just be yourself, be honest, because ultimately you're going to have to back up everything that you write about. If you can't convince yourself that it's 100% true, then you won't be able to back it up in an interview when you're under high stress. And I guess the third thing is it's okay if it's not great the first time. We're going to be talking next lesson about how to actually review your essay, but it's okay if it's not great the first time. It doesn't have to be perfection right off the bat, right? We're going to be reviewing it many, many, many times, don't worry. And I guess this is more dependent on the individual, but what I have found for most people is try to just write everything in one sitting. Try to at least write the first draft and just sit there and don't focus on anything else but the essay, and don't really pay attention to grammar the first time around. Just write, just write what's on your mind, just write what you feel. And that's really what, at the end of the day, it'll be the honest truth. It'll be kind of you. It'll be who you are. It'll be exactly what you believe in. It'll be your interests. It'll kind of culminate everything that defines who you are. Always think about the so what. Always think about the so what and how this can potentially affect your goals or your visions or contribute to them, right? Everything that you write has to have a purpose. You'll find that you will have too much to say and not enough room to actually say it. The word limit will restrict actually what you want to say. And so always think about the so what, because if it's not as important, then you can remove it. You can remove it and focus on something that may be more important, right? So always think about the so what. And always have a powerful conclusion, because that may be the last thing that resonates in their mind. That's generally the intro and the conclusion. Everything else you kind of forget about. And even then, even the intro you kind of forget about. So it's the conclusion that really sums everything up. It shows what your goals are, what you've learned, your vision. And I think that your goals and your vision are the most important aspect of defining who you are and really defining the decision process of, will we accept this individual or not? Because they ultimately are your investment. I mean, you are their investment. And so you really want to make that as powerful as you can, because that's the last thing that they remember.
Be sure to check out our website, medicalbasics.com, for more educational resources like our medical ID cards. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more tips and lessons.